So, hey guys, Chauzu here. So I've already talked about 6 plus Uta, and it's pretty clear that the community at large is not happy about it. Personally, I think that 6-star Uta is still better, but I do not think that the 6 plus Uta is trash, useless, or whatever else people are calling. So my goal in this video is to say that if you do have 2 Uta, you should feel good about it, and I'm going to show why. And I'm also going to say that if you have 1 Uta, you shouldn't feel too bad either, because I noticed something that I don't see a lot of people talk about, so I'm going to talk about it instead, and how you can ensure that you can use both the 6-star and 6 plus Uta depending on your needs. But yeah, let's get into it. So here we have the 6 plus Uta, and I also want to highlight some parts of 6 plus Uta that I think will be useful moving forward. And it's going to be both as captain, as sub. We're going to talk about support. We're going to talk about Pirate Rumble. But yeah, let's start with the captain. And while the captain is a nerf to Uta overall, the fact remains that this is different classes. And we're still talking about a 5.5 times driven and powerhouse captain with a driven superclass. Like, if we think about in terms of like super boss and such, that's still one of the strongest captain abilities in the game in terms of numbers. That's not something to just ignore. Like, I am aware there are weaknesses with the unit, but purely for, say, a super boss, this is as good as it gets in terms of numbers. Like, utility is not as good in general for super bosses. Like, there are exceptions, of course. But yeah, basically, you're going to add a lot of damage to driven, powerhouse-focused teams. So that's at least something to keep in mind. That is pretty damn dope. As for the special, like, sure, you get worse buffs from 6 plus Uta than the 6-star, but again, for super boss, like, getting a high orb and color affinity boost is not bad, and means other units can deal with the other buffs. We of course have the issue with the debuff, but I want to remind you how Uta works. Like, let's say for super boss, stage 2, you use the special, you will get a 2.5 times orb boost, and color affinity is 2.25 times. The second turn, it will be a 2.75 times orb boost, 2.5 times color affinity. And like, the wording might be confusing, but the second turn, unless there's some extra HP cuts or such from the bosses, you will still get the buff. You will not get the debuff of removing buffs and getting binded. Like, say you enter the full stage, you haven't got the HP cut yet, you will enter with 100% HP, you won't get binded, you won't get your buffs removed. Then after you enter the stage, you get that 70% HP cut, but you are still fine. So that's actually pretty huge to 6 plus Uta in general. Like, it will suck if the second stage you'd be screwed over, but if there were a first stage, you'd definitely be screwed over unless you ran a second Uta, which is an option. Probably not optimal in many cases, but if you had, say, a second Uta on the team, one as captain, friend captain, one as sub, you can use Uta against super boss from stage 1. On stage 2, you use the second Uta to get the lock, get the chain boost, get the reduced HP cut and stuff. And then when you get to final stage, you'd have the 3 times orb boost, 2.75 times color affinity. If you add a superclass into the mix, like, all the buffs I've talked about can be increased to plus 0.25 times, as long as the boss doesn't remove buffs. But even if the boss remove buffs, you get a superclass boost, and you are guaranteed to get 2.75 times and orb boost and 2.5 times color affinity, which is really good. So I do think that this part of the unit can definitely see some use and is not bad. I actually will say that this is good from the context of making the max damage powerhouse driven teams, which is a very common class combination I want to maintain. And you have some very good potential teammates to run. I've previously mentioned Blackbeard. One of my subscribers mentioned the int Yamato can also be an option, and you even resist the bind then, so you can, like, it's not good to get binded, but it can be possible. Not for super boss, I'd say, but maybe in general content. Fun option at least. Another cool thing with running Uta as a sub is that this is actually a pretty good sailor, like in Psy or matching for driven. That's very good. But yeah, in general, cap. But as a sub, like, you still get these effects for at least 2 turns without having to be too worried, which is still very good. And you get the matching orb, so not a bad sub at all, even if the main purpose of this unit, I'd say, is captain against super boss. One thing I want to also mention why it's good to have 6-star and 6+ Uta is the support. This is a very good support for int-driven units. You get a free 1.5 times attack and orb boost for 1 turn if you're an int-driven unit and use this special. That's very good. I've already used 6-star Uta, who is the same but cerebral, a few times. Very good support, and it's definitely one I would want to have around, as same as I want the 6-star Uta support. 2 very good supports to own. Finally, we're going to do something I try and avoid most of the time, but the fact remains that 6+ Uta is more useful in Pirate Rumble than 6-star Uta, because 6+ Uta actually belongs to a good class in PvP. Like, if we check the ability, Driven gets HP up level 6, attack up level 6, and when you deal damage, you get self-attack up level 2, special CT speed up level 2. Like, it's not the best ability, but as you see, you can get a high self-attack up and special CT up as well, while helping the team with HP up as well. And Rumble Special does look very good on paper. It's a large range for 100% chance of half attack and speed. And of course, halving attack is very good. It's a shame it's not half stats, since then you'd lower defense and such as well. But like, lowering attack, very good. And you also lower the special CT speed down, and you do 4 times her attack in damage. And remember that when you deal damage with her, you lower her own CT speed while making the opponent's CT speed lower. So yeah, like, it's very good. Like, it's very similar to the 6-star Uta, but the thing is that you have the context of having driven teams. So if we go to Pirate Rumble, so yeah, if we take a look here at my idea for offense team, of course, this is not 6-star Uta, it's going to be 6+ Uta. I just have Uta as a placeholder. So here we have Uta with her 6 attack and 6 defense to driven. We have Kid. Need to hold. Kid, who gives HP up level 5 and defense level up to int, and also adds attack boost to driven when doing damage. We have Moria. This could also be int Yamato. We'll see what ends up being better, but of course, Moria, HP up level 5, defense level up to int, and also speeds himself up and has the half stats, which Yamato also can do. So maybe Yamato, like more is more defense, but Yamato adds more attack and damage. So we'll see which ones ends up being better. So Moria or Yamato. Kid, of course, also adds a lot of damage and is very good against Sai too. So maybe Int will start being better than Sai for real. It's also going to be the first time I can use this Blackbeard, but he's really good. Attack up level 5, HP level 5 up to Int. And powerhouse enemies also get the defense and speed up. So basically, he helps himself. If we run Moria, he helps Moria. He helps 6+ Uta. He helps... it's Broggy, right? Yeah, Broggy. Who is also very good. Like, sure, ability is not the best, but not bad. But of course, the massive damage he does with his special. And then pretty decent subs. So Int-driven powerhouse is pretty good. Like, it doesn't have perfect synergy, like Kid doesn't get all the buffs from Blackbeard, for example, but I still think Blackbeard is good enough to run. So yeah, something like this might be arguably the best team in PvP overall, maybe, we'll see. Like, I haven't used Int much. I try and stay out the Int versus Sai contest, since, yeah, they aren't inherently better than the other. It's just who is the best right now, and it opens up the door for RNG. But we'll see, and you never know, it might be good against other colors too. We'll see. One saving grace I want to end the video talking about is if we look here on the notice for Uta. Because Uta will need 5 skulls, and that is unfortunate, but probably manageable. One great thing we got here from the news. First, we'll get the skulls in the mail, of course. We will also be able to get some from the Kisuna Clash, which is a nice bonus, but not essential, of course. But finally, it also says we will be able to buy skulls from the Ray League Bazaar. And if it's the same as for Yamato, we'll be able to buy 99 skulls. And if you only have one Uta, you should definitely buy all of them. Like, just do it. Like, I did that for Yamato, and I have 2 Yamato. Like, I can use my Yamato as an example. Like, it's obviously not as essential for me since I have 2 Yamato. But one Yamato for me is a lot better than the other, since it is Limit Break expanded. So right now you see my Limit Break expanded Yamato is Int, and the normal one is Sai, and I do tend to change things for this. Like, yeah, they are pretty much the same otherwise. But if we look at me trying to evolve Yamato, for example, you will see... Oh, I need to go to the other one. You will see that I have used quite a few Yamato skulls. Like, Yamato just need 1 skull. So it's not as easy to evolve and de-evolve 6+ Uta, since you need 5 skulls. But still, you see that I have evolved and de-evolved a significant amount of times. Like 16 times since Yamato release. So it both means, 1, I've used this feature a lot, but not so much that I say it starts getting annoying. Like, I've heard a lot of people say that, oh, I want 2 Yamato because it's so annoying having to use skulls and evolve and de-evolve. Like, it's such a hassle. But, like, I'd say that you need to use this more on Yamato, since for Yamato, you might need to change both for PvE and PvP. While for Uta, like, let's be real, unless Cerebral gets a huge buff, 6-star Uta won't see much use in PvP. Likewise, in PvE, 6-star Uta will probably see a bit more use than 6+ Uta. It depends on the content, of course. Sometimes you might use 6+ Uta as a sub, for example, on some content. Maybe not much cap unless it's super boss or something. But in general, 6-star Uta more on PvE, basically only 6+ Uta in PvP. So during PvP, you can just evolve your Uta, and next time you need the normal Yamato in some content, you just de-evolve, and next time it's time for PvP finals, you evolve Uta again. So definitely get all the skulls. I will do it too, even if I probably don't need it, because I have a lot of points and you never know about the future. Might as well get all you need. So yeah, basically, I'm not saying you should pull for a second Uta, but if you do have 2 Uta, just keep them separate. It's going to make your life easier. So yeah, I think that's it for this video. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.